YouTubers, I'm Jacob, and this is a how-to video for doing an oil change on a 2015 F-150 with a 5.0 liter V8. I'm including links in the description below for these products, and I'm also posting weekly videos, so don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content. Before you get started, you're going to want to make sure you have enough oil, and it's recommended to have Motorcraft Synthetic Blend 5W20, and you're going to need 7 quarts to do this. So it's best to just go ahead and buy 2. This oil here was from a previous oil change. This one's unopened. I do prefer to stick with the Motorcraft Synthetic Blend. I think it runs better, we get better gas mileage with it. So hopefully once we finish up this Valvoline, we'll be purely back to Motorcraft. So we're going to want to warm the motor up first. It doesn't need to be hot, you don't need to drive around town, but just simply start it, maybe go around the block and come back. So we've already warmed it up. Next thing we're going to do is pop the hood and get ready to start draining oil out.
Here's a list of materials and tools you will need to complete this project.
So after I pop the hood, I'm going to remove the cap for where we would fill the oil with, and this will just help it drain out a little bit faster. So the drain plug is on the back of the oil pan, and it's a little bit further back than you would think, especially if you have the skid plates. It's all the way towards the back side of the tires. You are going to want to put your catch pan as far back as here. We've got some tarp down just to catch any extra spillage. And then I'm going to crawl in from the front. It makes it a little bit easier. That way you're reaching above you, and when it does start draining, it's not coming down on you, it's above you and out of the way. You may get a little bit on your hands, so it helps to have some gloves, and it will be warm, so expect it. Make sure you got some shop towel with you. You may need it. Don't forget your socket. This is a 15 millimeter. Don't drop your drain plug. There we go. See it?
Smell it. Oh, I see it. Yeah.
This is the time you want to check the end of your drain plug, because there's a magnet at the end, and see if there's any metal burrs. It'll tell you if you've got any issues with your motor. I don't see any metal on ours, so we're looking good. So I'm just kind of cleaning up down here. This will take a little bit to drain. Once I clean up, I'm gonna get out from underneath here and just let it drain out completely. So while we're waiting for the oil pan to drain out, I'm gonna go ahead and pre-fill a little bit of oil in the oil filter. And this will help it so that there's no air bubbles that get into the filter and prevent any kind of flow through there. So we're just gonna slowly fill it up with a little bit of oil here, and we'll check back on it because it will soak into the filter. It's amazing how much it soaks in. Like, I just had it full and it's already all the way down in there.
Okay.
Once it's done draining, then that's when we will remove the old filter and install the new one here. And that's part of the challenge with pre-filling it, is you still have to get it up there and get it screwed on as quick as you can. Some of it will leak out, so that's just part of it. So that's why I try to fill it up as much as I can and just account for some lost oil. You can see how much this is soaking up, where if you didn't do this ahead of time, you'd probably want to check your oil after running it a little bit, because you probably drop your oil level with how much is actually filling up in this filter. So it's pretty much drained out. We're just getting a somewhat steady drip, and some of the rest of this will come out with the filter. So we're going to go ahead and plug this back up and get the plug back in before we pull the filter. just gonna get it threaded in here by hand first. I'm gonna go counterclockwise until it seats, just like that. And then I'm gonna start tightening it down by hand. Once I get as far as I can, then I'll use the wrench or the socket to get it seated back down. And you don't want to over tighten it, just snug it up. And don't drop your tool in the oil either. That would be bad. Just like that. I like to wipe it down one last time, just so I'm not dripping on anyone's drive. All right, now we can move up to do the filter. All right, now this is where it gets a bit interesting with the oil filter. So the filter is here. There's a nice little drain pan line that goes down here to get it up off the frame to drain towards the front. But when you first pull it off, you're actually gonna get some oil out of this back drain hole here. It'll run across the skid plate. So I like to get my pan situated as best as I can to try and catch both areas, because there will be a good amount of oil coming out of here. You wanna make sure you got your filter wrench here. And I've got one that can change different angles and stuff, which is kind of handy based on how your hoses are set up. You'll only need this to get it loose enough to get it off. Once you get it loose, you should be able to take it off by hand. So you're going to want to do this as quick as you can so that you don't make too much of a mess on you. And these filter wrenches work a certain direction, so you can see it tightens down this way. So that's the way I'm going to want to turn it to loosen it. Got it loose, and then quickly spin it off. You see how to adjust there. You just got to be ready to catch it because it'll come from several different areas there. And just dump the filter out. Some people like to test the oil that's in the filter to see how it's truly performing. We're just doing a quick change here, so I'm going to dump it out and then just put it in the new filter container to be recycled. Okay, so this is the difficult part. You will spill a little bit of oil, so it's good to leave your pan in place where you've had it. And we're gonna wanna put it on there and again spin counterclockwise until you hear the threads seat evenly, and then start hand tightening as much as you can. And we're just gonna snug it up by hand. We won't use the tool. There we go. Hear it seat? Now hand tighten. Here we go. Just like that, our new filter is on. We'll leave our pan down here to leave it keep draining out while we've got that new oil on. And it's time to get up top. Need a creeper. So now it's time to fill your motor up with fresh oil. You're gonna want an oil funnel for this. And we've got a long one here that I'm able to set down in, and it just rests nicely on here. This one will take the full 5 quarts, and you want to pour slow and even and not overfill it. After this 5 quarts, I'll let it sit for a little bit and kind of settle down in before I add the last 2 quarts. And we'll use this empty one here to put the old oil in to take back to get recycled at the auto parts store. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll just pour 1 quart in, and on this bottle you can see on the back right now we're at 3 quarts. So we'll pour it down until we get to around 2 quarts. We'll let it sit, and then I'll start checking the dipstick to see if it's starting to register. Because remember, we already added some oil into the filter already, and that will account a little bit towards our oil count total. So once you kind of get into that last, like closest to the 7 quarts, it's just a matter of like adding a little bit, letting it sit, checking the oil, and repeating that process. And it helps to let it sit a little bit longer, sometimes up to 10 minutes. It is warm outside today, so it should settle down into the pan a little bit faster, but if it's cooler out, you may need to wait longer. So for the 5.0 V8, our dipstick is on this side over here, down low. It's yellow, hard to miss, it's got a ring on it. Right here. There is no transmission dipstick on these trucks. It's underneath on the transmission, so it won't be full with another dipstick. So kind of give it a little bit of a twist and pull. And we'll wipe it off. Stick it in and check it. You want to see it all the way down. So we're starting to register here. It looks like we're at the bottom of the hatch. Need to add some more oil. I'll let it sit for another 5 minutes or so, 2 minutes, and then check it again. All right, we're just towards the top of the hatch there. So we're looking good. See that? Looks like a metal flake in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. This is another advantage of doing your own oil change. You get to see if you're having any issues like this. Definitely some metal flake. Okay, so last thing we'll do is reset our oil life on the truck. That way it's up to date with when the oil change has recently happened. So we'll just go to our information screen for oil. It shows oil percentage life 53%. And I'm just gonna hold OK and reset. Okay, now you see it went back to 100%. Should be good to go for the next 5,000 miles. And that's that. Thanks for watching my how-to video. If you enjoyed it, smash down the like button and subscribe to my channel for more content. Thanks for watching.